You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. Now it's time to speak to our first visitor, Martin Goodhew. Martin, it's always good to have you here in the studio.
And thank you very much for having me. Plenty going on. I'm very grateful. The last time we was here, we was promoting the work that we're doing to start forming a response to the First World War centenary, and we wanted to know what the community were doing. Well, they've certainly been letting us know, and in droves. We've got details on our database now of 34 different projects that we're aware of across the community, where people are developing all kinds of projects, from the poppy planting, supporting the Plant a Real Poppy campaign, through to commemorative war memorial works where they're developing histories and forming books, to just weekends that commemorate a number of events, especially at Warden Bay, for example. They're having a commemorative weekend of events in August, and in Newington they're doing a commemorative weekend of events in September. So plenty going on, and they've been keeping me busy out and about. Just on Friday, for example, it was the culmination of the Football and Peace project, which I'm pleased to say included 2 Swale schools. That was the Oasis Academy, the Isle of Sheppey, and Borden Grammar, and that was over at Maidstone Football Ground, where 5 schools from Kent and 1 school from Germany took part in the event, and there was an exhibition there, and a number of us were there to support the Swale schools. So there's plenty going on, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail very shortly.
And I know next you wanted to update us on the community projects that are going to be happening across Swale.
Okay, well, there's one community project that is right across Swale, and it's the Swale Area School Poetry and Creative Writing Competition with the theme of remembrance. And for the youngsters out there, this is a chance to not only put your thoughts on what the First World War commemoration means to you, but an opportunity to win a prize. So all the schools, that's the primaries and the secondary schools, have been written to, and the council leaders very shortly are going to send out one final reminder. There's plenty of applications, or entries shall I say, have come in so far, but the application to enter the competition has been extended until May, end of May, and all you need to do is, you've got 2 options. You can write a piece of creative writing up to no more than 500 words, or you can write a piece of poetry with the theme of remembrance and send it in. Now, the Isle of Sheppey Oasis Academy are coordinating the competition, so all entries need to be sent to the Oasis Isle of Sheppey Academy, care of Mr. Paul Murray, who many of you will know in the community. He does a lot of work, and as I said, then the entries will close, I believe it's Whitsun week at the end of May, and then they will be judged, and then there will be an evening presentation to the winners, which will feature an exhibition of all the works that have been submitted. So there's a great opportunity, and hopefully this will be an opportunity for BRFM to feature some of the works and get some of the youngsters. I hope, Daniel, we were talking earlier that you'd be able to get them come along and get some of the youngsters to actually read their poems, and so that we can put a piece of work together of how the young people of today have interpreted in writing and poetry what the First World War means to them.
Yeah, that's certainly something I'd like to do, and we certainly look forward to doing that. At the moment, we're talking all about how Martin is updating us on the community's projects under development across Swale at the moment.
Okay, so we're back here, and now we would like to not only remind those youngsters to get involved, because it is about education, a large part of this. So we did mention earlier the opportunity to enter the poetry and creative writing competition. That's for the youngsters and the school age, but we also still want to hear from all those community groups, because I'm pleased to say, as of the 1st of April, the council has made some money available to community groups who are developing projects that commemorate the First World War. So I will just sow that seed, and we'll give you some examples in a little while. In the meantime, there are some big projects that are taking place later on this year. Some of you may be aware that the government has provided some commemorative paving stones for those people who won or were awarded the Victoria Cross during World War One. Now, they were awarded to, these commemorative paving stones were awarded to the boroughs where those recipients were born. And in Swale's case, we have one recipient, and that was Sir Philip Neame, who was born in Faversham. Well, there's an event that's being developed in association with Shepherd Neame and Faversham Town Council, and there'll be an event which will culminate on December the 19th. That's in Faversham Town Centre. Now, another project, which is literally just in the early stages, is for Colonel Donald Dean. Now, he had family links with Sittingbourne and is indeed buried in Tunstall. But unfortunately, he was born in the Lambeth Council area. So over the past couple of months, there's been quite a bit of negotiation with the government, with Lambeth Council and Colonel Donald Dean's family. And we're pleased to say that the Swale Borough Council has been successful working with the family to secure the paving stone for Colonel Donald Dean. And there will be an event where his paving stone will be unveiled in Sittingbourne Town Centre on the afternoon of Remembrance Sunday. That's November the 9th. So we're meeting with representatives of the family and many of the stakeholders that we need to do, and that starts next week. But ultimately that will be a project that will be taking place this year, and two VC commemorative paving stones will appear on the streets of Swale in 2014. Now, on the island, I can hear many of you saying, well, what about Captain James McCudden? Now, Captain James McCudden had residential links with the island. Indeed, he lived in Merrick Road in Sheerness with his family for a period of time. Now, he was awarded a VC towards the end of the war in 1918. But he was born in Brompton, in Gillingham, in the Medway Council area. So currently we're working to find out what Medway Council are planning to do. And indeed there is a family memorial in Chatham Cemetery. So it looks at the moment that the commemorative paving stone will go to Medway, but there are some members of the Isle of Sheppey community who are working on securing a second stone, but generally the Department of Communities and Local Government normally make these stones available in the year that coincides with the Centenary Anniversary of the award. Now, with Colonel Donald Dean, we've got a special dispensation because Mrs. Susan Bavin, Colonel Donald Dean's daughter, is still alive and has made a request that as she is getting on in age, she's requested especially that the stone is laid this year. Now, with regards to James McCudden, it looks more likely that a project will be developed to coincide with the centenary anniversary of the Victoria Cross, and that would be in 2018. So plenty to look out for with that one. So just another taster, lots more still to come.
So at the moment we are talking to Martin Goodhew right here at BRFM 95.6, the Isle of Sheppey's very own community radio station. As always, it's great to have you along with us. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We are at the moment talking to Martin Goodhew, and we're talking to him all about developing a Swale response to the centenary anniversary of the First World War here in Swale. And at the moment we're updating you on the community projects being developed across the Swale area.
Okay, well, welcome back everybody. Now, a lot of people say, well, why is Swale getting so involved in the commemoration of the First World War? And many people will know that Sittingbourne is twinned with Ypres in Belgium, and the significance that Ypres played in the World War One. And the council has been twinned there's been a civic twinning with EPA and the Swale Borough Council for many years now, and over the next, well, started last year in 2013 and right through the commemoration period for the next few years, the Mayor of Swale will be travelling to EPA on Armistice Day on the 11th of November to lay a wreath under the Menin Gate as part of the service of remembrance, the Armistice service on November the 11th. Now, last year I was very fortunate to organise and arrange and travel with the Mayor on that trip, and we invited what we termed as school ambassadors. So basically all the schools, all the senior secondary schools in Swale were invited to send, as we called, school ambassadors, 4 pupils plus a teacher to join the Mayor. Now, we were very fortunate that we was allowed to join the Poppy Parade, which goes from just behind the Cloth Hall along the streets of EPA under the Menin Gate. Now, as part of the Poppy Parade, our school children carried the petals, the poppy petals, in their hands. They were given those to carry. Then as we approached the Menin Gate, there were baskets, and then you handed over the petals that they were carrying, put them in the baskets, and then at the end of the service, at the appropriate time, and they played the last post, the petals that they'd carried and the baskets were tipped out, and down they came from the roof of the Menin Gate, and many of the children were very, very touched. It was very, very moving, and we're very lucky that we've been invited back. So this year the Mayor will be again inviting the school children to travel with her, or whoever it may be, because there's a new Mayor to be elected at the annual general meeting of Swale Borough Council next month. But they've already stated that the Mayor will be inviting the young people. So if any parents or young people in Swale who attend the Swale secondary schools, perhaps you might want to listen out when the time comes and they're looking for volunteers to put themselves forward. So that's a big civic event that's happening in November. As I say, we've had the civic service. That was just only yesterday at St Michael's Church in Sittingbourne, and the theme of that was the First World War, and the sermon was very much around the First World War window. When the civic service was being planned, accompanied the Mayor to the church and to see this window that was put in 1920, and it tells the story and is there in remembrance for those from the parish that lost their lives during World War One. And the Mayor supported a project to improve the interpretation panel, basically the story of the window. So any of you, next time you're over in Sittingbourne when the church is open, please feel free, I'm sure, when the church is open, to go inside and look at the window and look at the interpretation panel and to see what it meant and how the church indeed still remembers the fallen of the First World War.
And we're continuing to let you know all about what's going to be happening.
OK, here we go. Now, those of you who may have seen quite a lot of publicity on the TV and in the press about the Centenary Poppy campaign. It started off as the Royal British Legion project, and it's really grown right across the county and the country now. And Swale Borough Council are very keen to support the project, and indeed have secured and purchased a number of poppy seeds. Now, if I said to you, I was given a figure today, how many poppy seeds do you think Swale Borough Council's got to give away? Would you like to hazard a guess?
I'd imagine it's a fair few, but...
A fair few. OK, so, Swale, what would you like to do with 14 million, yes, you heard, 14 million poppy seeds? We've secured 14 million poppy seeds, and our Swale in Bloom coordinator, a lovely lady by the name of Joanna Marolia, has been working hard. She's been in correspondence with all the schools in Swale, all the towns and parish councils, and community groups, encouraging them to do... shall we say, respectful, small poppy growing campaign and planting projects. So there are many of these. I'm pleased to say a lot of the schools, especially on the Isle of Sheppey, including the Oasis Academy Isle of Sheppey, have taken up the offer to take some of the seeds that the council has secured and designed small memorial gardens. So this is not about huge fields of poppies. This is about small memorial gardens, or very carefully. I was at a poppy planting project on Thursday of last week in Newington, right beside the A2. There's a little square, very nicely cut by those that organise the allotments, working with the Newington History Group. This is the local community all involved, and with the Royal British Legion, and literally underneath the Newington sign there is a nice square which will come up and look very, very tasteful, and ultimately it's the sign of commemoration that each community, and I was approached today by another two parish councils that are looking to do things, but we want them to do it very, very thoughtfully. Yeah, and obviously we need to respect the farmers, and these poppy seeds need to be planted, as I say, respectfully, and be exactly what we want them to be. Something that's there to commemorate, so that it's a visual reminder of the sacrifice that many people paid in the Great War. So, as I said, all the schools, all the town and parish councils, a lot of the project forms I've received are all relating to the Centenary Poppy campaign. And as I said, 14 million poppy seeds. Now, we're looking to work up a target of 100 poppy planting projects over the centenary period. So far, I believe we're up to about 21. So we're looking 21, that's great, because the centenary period goes right the way up through and indeed into 2019. So if you're not successful in securing some of these poppies, or if you've about to miss the planting season for this year, don't worry. This time next year we'll be looking for some more projects and some more places, but it's small, it's respectful, and it needs to be done right. So it does need a little bit of thought, and our In Bloom coordinator Joanna Morolio is available at the council to provide just that guidance you need to know if you want to do a poppy planting project.
All about developing a Swale response to the centenary anniversary of the First World War, and we're continuing at the moment to talk about some of the things that are taking place.
Okay, so before we mention the grant money that's available to groups that want to develop their projects, I'm going to give you a flavour of some of the projects that are already under development. So first of all, we'll just go around the locations. We've already mentioned in Faversham, there's the Victoria Cross commemorative project with Sir Philip Neame, and that's taking place in Faversham Town Centre on December the 19th. In the meantime, the Faversham Society and the Fleur-de-Lis Heritage Centre are developing a project, and they will be having exhibitions at the Fleur-de-Lis, and they start from August the 1st. So any more details, please contact the Fleur-de-Lis. And one that's coming up in the not too distant future, that's Belmont House and Gardens and their stately home at Throwley. There's a World War I Centenary Commemoration Weekend, and that's on May the 17th and 18th. Step back in time to experience what life was like on the front line. So they'll have demonstrations and displays reflecting the key aspects of the history in that period. World War I encampments featuring weapons, equipment, and so much more. So again, check out the Belmont House website on that one. Moving into Sittingbourne, before we come to the island, a big project is the Sittingbourne War Memorial Project. They're producing biopics of those men commemorated on the Sittingbourne and local parish war memorials. And for further information on this one, it's the Historical Research Group of Sittingbourne. So check out their website or their Facebook page. Linstead and Kingsdown Society, they're developing a book of remembrance, and they are too contributing to the larger Sittingbourne project. Newington History Group, I mentioned just last Thursday I was at their poppy planting project. but they've got a Newington Centenary tribute to our fallen World War One heroes, and that's a weekend event and on the 6th and 7th of September. So further information, please contact the Newington History Group, and the lady that runs that's Mrs. Thelma Dudley. Sittingbourne Heritage Museum, they're at it as well. They're working on a project to develop a portable audio-visual interactive display. Now, there's a mouthful if I've ever heard one, which will show key aspects of Sittingbourne's contribution to World War One, and they're going to be securing and developing that, and they hope to launch that at Sittingbourne Library on the 6th of October, and that's this year, 2014. Go to the Sittingbourne Heritage Museum website for more information. Now, on to the island, good old Isle of Sheppey. Flora's War, 1914-1918. That's Big Fish Arts, and I know many of you will have known of Chris Reed and all her gang. They're developing this project. They have worked so hard to secure Heritage Lottery funding, and please check out the Big Fish Arts website or contact Chris Reed direct for more information. Sheppey Promenade Festival this year, which I know Big Fish Arts are contributing to, will have a World War One commemoration theme, and this is the arts festival that takes place during September, and there was a meeting recently to discuss some of the content, and if you want to get involved, contact those people that are organising it. You've got Janice Thornton at Sheppey Little Theatre, you've got Chris Reed and at Big Fish Arts, and Jenny Herkett at good old Bluetown Heritage Centre. Now, Bluetown Heritage Centre, if you haven't been recently, well, you're really missing a treat, because they've really gone to town. They've already developed an exhibition in a room that they've dedicated. It was previously used for the Sheerness Dockyard display, but now you can go in there and find all about Barbed Wire Island and a lot of the role in which the island played. So check out Bluetown Heritage Centre. Rushington Community Hall Association, they're one of the ones that they're doing a poppy planting campaign. This year, don't forget, it's the East Church Observance. East Church Parish Council are launching or working on that one, and that's going to take place on July the 1st. And this year, obviously, there's a significant World War One connection. And the Aspirations Over 50s group and the Sing Shore Community Choir, they're producing a show to celebrate the music and poetry of the First World War, and that show is taking place at Sheerness East Workingmen's Club, and it will be on Thursday, September the 18th. So that's just a flavour of some of the projects. Now, there could be performances, there could be exhibitions, there could be, as we say, researching the names on the war memorials, but they're all commemorative projects, and they're all gaining the support of Swale Borough Council.
And I know next, Martin, you're going to talk about the new localism grant scheme.
Yes, many of you will know that the members currently have a localism grant scheme where each individual councillor has a certain amount of money to allocate to community projects. Well, this year, and hopefully over the next few years, subject to the budget process, as we say, the councillors allocated some money purely dedicated to supporting World War One commemoration projects. Now, this was launched on the 1st of April. The maximum amount of money that you can apply for is $750, but it's anything from a small project from £50 right up to $750, a little one to support a small local community project, something in the village or something that a community group is doing that is a commemorative act that the council wants to support in a tasteful way to help the community commemorate World War One. Now, as I said, we launched this scheme on there we are, well, I'm getting ahead of myself there, on April the 1st. And we've already had a number of applications in, and already processed a number of them. There have been grants made already to the Aspirations Over 50s group, who are doing their event as part of the Sheppey Promenade Festival in September. One event that I didn't get around to mentioning was the Warden Bay Village Hall weekend of commemorative events. That's the 9th and 10th of August. But not only are they having a weekend of events at the Village Hall, they're also aiming to develop a memorial garden and install a permanent flagpole and a patio area and basically some seats there, so that there can be remembrance not only for this commemoration but other significant events where it is appropriate to fly the flag. So that project has been supported. Bluetown Remembered and Jenny Herkett, she's made an application because down at Bluetown they're aiming to create an archive specifically for sheppey's involvement of World War One, to store and any of the artefacts or research that's found following the commemorative activities that are going to take place during the commemoration period. So between now and 2018 there's going to be a lot of research, a lot of activity, and Jenny's building an archive. So if you've got something on the island and you think it should be stored or displayed, please contact them down there at Bluetown Remember. And as I said, the council have awarded a grant to her. Newington History Group, I mentioned, they've got their special remembrance book and their weekend on the September the 6th and 7th. And they too are producing a book, and there's been a grant made to support them. Today I received a grant from the Friends of the Lower Howstow Brickworks, and they're looking at creating a memorial wood with a plinth and a plaque, and purchasing the saplings. So all part of the brickfields on a site known as the Bean Field. So that's a project that they're working up, and again they've asked and submitting a grant. So the grant money, because the council is very keen to support a lot of the projects that will take place during the summer, and also to coincide with the start of the commemoration of the First World War, are being paid and processed as they come in. So it's not as if there's going to be a number of tranches or rounds. It's please, we're encouraging everybody, if you'd like to, if you have a project, and we're aware, as I said, I've got 34 different projects that we're aware of. We've now got this money that we can support these projects. Please go to the website where the details of all the projects are under development at the moment. You can click on the link from that page, which will take you to another page where you can download the application form, and please get it in as soon as possible. So from £50 up to £750, grants to support World War One commemorative projects in Swale is available now.
We're going to talk a little bit about how people can find out more.
OK, well, I'd like to thank you very much, Daniel, at this stage for letting me come along and talk about all the projects that are taking place. But people can find out a lot more about what's going on with regards to events at our tourism website, which is visit-swale.co.uk. This is our website where people can find out what they can do and where they can stay and what's going on right the way across Swale all the way through the year. So please, it was a new website launched last October, so if you haven't checked it out, please do so. So www.visit-swale.co.uk. Now on there we've got an anniversaries page, and obviously the Centenary Anniversary is part of that page. But I've been working, or very lucky to represent Swale with a working group right across Kent, working with Visit Kent, and they've developed a page on their website under the banner headline Frontline Kent. Now, Frontline Kent brings together a lot of these anniversaries, like the D-Day anniversaries, Magna Carta, all kind of military anniversaries, but obviously this year significantly World War One. And Frontline Kent will feature on one website, www.frontlinekent.co.uk, but you can go to it via our website and Visit Swale. All the activities and events and the commemorative activities that are taking place right across Kent. So if you want to travel further afield, there are some big regional and national events. Indeed, on August the 4th, there are 4 major national events, and one of those is in Kent. and that's down in Folkestone. But I'm not going to tell you about it. I want you to check it out on the website. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your time listening to me tonight. If you want to find out more, please go to the Swale Borough Council's website. There is a Centenary World War One page. The links are with Daniel. They're on the BRFM website. For general events, things to do and where to go in Swale, there is our website, which is www.visit-swale.co.uk. We've also got the Visit Swale Facebook and Twitter, and indeed right away across Kent, check out that frontlineken.co.uk. Thank you very much indeed for letting me come along tonight, and it's been a real pleasure.
Oh, as always, Martin, it's good to have you here. So, thank you for coming along. That is Martin Goodhew this evening, joining us live in the studio, and he was telling us all about developing a Swale response to the centenary anniversary of the First World War.